So the coaches have a big impact on these kids,
Mhm.
right? You can either build them up or you can break them. What do you think is the responsibility of these coaches of bringing the kids up? And also, do you think a lot of coaches destroy these kids' dreams by telling them things they shouldn't be telling them at that age?
Okay.
For example, I've heard this from a coach to a kid. He says, "You're not ready for. You can't play at the next level," right?
Mm.
In which the kid played at the next level,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But to me hearing that, and then me growing up, me hearing that coach said that to a kid, and then me growing up thinking back at it, it's like, yo, that coach never never should have said that.
Yeah.
But some people might say, well, that gave the kid fire, not knowing that probably broke the kid, and he's like, well, I'm gonna play anyway. Like that's what I want to do. It had nothing to do with fire. He just wanted
Yeah.
to play, but he went and played anyway. But some kids, you say that to a kid, and they never play again, like after high school,
Yeah.
because of that. And his whole life is like stirred a different way now.
Yeah.
So what do you think a coach's responsibility is, watching what he says to kids to bring them up?
Okay. Specifically on what they say, to each their own. I mean, in a realistic world, I would say that coaches have a responsibility to uplift kids, but I mean, me being in the coaching industry, in the coaching game, and the training game, I understand that sometimes you got to know your kid and know what you can say to light a fire versus what you cannot say that will just really, like you said, break them, for lack of a better term. So I think it depends on who it is you're coaching and you knowing that kid and what you can say to get that up out of them. So I'll give you a prime example. For my daughter, I have a daughter that's 17. She plays here at Cohen High School. And she's a late bloomer, started playing at her freshman year. But because the game was so hard for her, she would always cry. And for a while, I babied her. Oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And I wasn't getting the response that I wanted. So what I started doing was like, okay, you don't want to play, then quit. Turn in your jersey. Take your shoes off. And that caused her to work hard. Although I never told a kid that you're not going to make it, with her, I always told her, yeah, you suck, but you don't have to stay sorry. Meaning like, yeah, at this moment, you may not be as good as other people around you, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to work hard, or you shouldn't work hard, and that you can't get better. You can always get better. You can always stay in the gym. You can always work. And I think that's the biggest responsibility of a coach or a mentor or a trainer or anybody who calls himself something in the industry of basketball or football or whatever the case may be, is you always got to find a way to trigger a kid in a positive way, and then you have to find ways to actually help them get better.
There you go. Trigger them in a positive way.
Trigger them in a positive
Can't
way.
trigger them in a negative way.
Yep.
Because that will destroy them. And I think personally that we're responsible for each other's lives when we're in each other's lives. So
Yeah.
we can either build them up or break them down.
Yeah.
When we build them up, we're going to earn our stripes on another level,
Yeah.
on a spiritual level. If we break them down, we're going to be responsible for everything that person does in the area of where his life changes, if it's like bad. You know what I'm saying? But I agree with you. Like you have to trigger them for.
Yeah, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So one of my other mottos, is if I'm going to be your biggest supporter and the person that spends hours in the gym with you, I have the right to break your game down as well as I do to build it up. Meaning, if you're turning the ball over or you're just having a crappy game and you're not shooting the ball well, and I'm sitting there clapping for you, but then you miss an open player, not once but twice, and I get on you, I have that right to get on you.
Yeah.
Because I'm the number one person in your corner.
Yeah.
So just as well as coaches, build guys up and girls up, and they're training them and they're coaching them, there should be some leeway to say, hey, you're not playing well today. Now, each individual person has a responsibility of how they're going to get that across, whether you use foul language, whether you just in their face and you just, that kind. I can't dictate how a person's personality is. For me, it's different. I'll sub you and tell you, And if there's a little bit of confrontation, a little bit back and forth, I really don't mind that all too much because we're in the heat of a battle. We're trying to get something done.
Yeah.
But as long as there's a line of respect and I'm trying to trigger you to get you better and you understand that, we should be fine.
So it's a balance, basically.
It's a balance.
Okay.
It's always a balance in that.
So when there's no, well, yeah, I think for anything in life, there has to be a balance. If there's not, it's not going to be,
Yeah.
it's not going to go the right way. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I will say this also with coaching, it's different from AAU than to your perspective high school, because I'm at the high school level, so I can only speak to what I see. And a lot of AAU coaches, an overwhelming amount, really don't teach the kids anything. It's almost a business. It's like, let me grab the best kids that I can get, throw them into a simple system, and let them do their thing. In AAU, there's less and less structure and more one-on-one play. And then these kids grow up thinking that they're going to make it to college and be successful when the game that they want to play ultimately is a 5-on-5 game.
Yep.
And we're allowing these kids to go one-on-one and never teaching them the value of 5-on-5 about how to drive, when the secondary defender's coming, where should the open look be. We don't teach kids that.
And that, see, when you said that, so it's high school, I think it's high school, AAU, college, pros. So high school, team game. AAU, one-on-one. College, team game.
Team game, NBA one-on-one.
Pros, one-on-one.
Yeah.
So you, as a player, you have to know when to switch it up.
Yeah,
And you have to know when to go, when to step back.
yeah,
But there's some coaches or some players that just want to go all the time.
yeah, and they don't understand.
Yeah.
It's,
If you have a big name, you can do whatever you want.
yeah,
But if you're like the average, not the average player, but you're good,
Yeah.
but you don't have that respect name, you have to
Have to
learn how
learn.
to balance. And
Yeah.
learn how to balance. Like, okay, he wants me to go, and then, okay, the coach wants me to sit back.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a balance.
And that trigger, on the ball, off the ball, right? You might start off as a star in high school, and then you go to college or you go to a good AAU team, and you're no longer the star, you're just one of the guys, and now you're off the ball, and you got to figure out a way to be effective.
Yeah.
And those are conversations that I try to have with the kids that I'm around, because it's just a flat-out disservice.
Yeah.
It's a flat-out disservice. And everybody's so quick to go play one-on-one instead of getting in the gym and getting their footwork right, getting their mechanics right. To me, this is how I feel. If you can't score 20, 25 points in a 32-minute high school game, you should not go play travel ball. You should not go play travel ball. If you're struggling and you're only getting 3 or 4 points a game, and you're going to go play travel ball for a team that's not that good, for coaches who are just going to throw you out there and not really teach you anything, how did you get yourself better? Because normally what we do as players is we do what we're good at doing. So let's say if I'm a good driver, but I can't shoot and I can't dribble, but I can drive 1 or 2 dribbles away from the rim. If I continue to do that and I go play travel ball, where did I set time aside to get better? Where did I set time aside to maybe get my shooting touch right, or maybe get my dribbling game right? We never set time aside for that. We think that we can go from high school basketball to AAU basketball, back and forth, and then hopefully we get a chance at playing collegiate basketball with the same exact skill set.
Yeah.
See, the name of the game is development. And a lot of kids, the blessed kids, they start off as maybe being able to be superior in the athletic realm, but there's a lot of guys in the NBA that are superior in the athletic realm and don't play. They sit on the bench.
Every single player in the NBA can play. But it's just, like I'm saying,
You know how to play within a 5-man
Yeah.
system, knowing your role, knowing how to play off the ball,
Yep.
knowing how to do all the little things, pick and pop, pick and roll, set a screen, come off of a pick, like box out, rebound.
and that's how a lot of players keep, stay in the NBA because they know their role. They do what they're good at. They do what they're asked. So if you don't do what you're asked, you're going to get, traded or scenario, your value's going to go down.
Yeah. Take Carmelo in the year that he struggled with staying on the team. Carmelo could still score the basketball,
Yeah.
but teams didn't need him to do that.
Yeah.
We said, we know you can score, but we already got a couple of guys for that. We don't need you to do that.
Yeah.
So the young guys, if you go to, an AAU team, or you have hopes to go to college, and they got a guy that does what you do, he just does it a little bit better, The coach might not necessarily need you to do that.
Not yet.
He might need you
'Cause
to, not yet.
That player's been
Correct.
doing that before you got there.
Yeah,
So
they
when
might
you
need you
come
to do
in, they're
something
like,
else.
okay, we want you to do that, but not right now.
Not right now. We need you to do something else.
Yeah.
And if you can't be effective at that,
Yeah.
you're gonna find yourself buried at the end of the bench.
Or you're gonna transfer.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that.
Yeah, not saying that you can't play, but we didn't need that skill from you. We got a couple of guys that do that.
Yep.
What we need you for, you got great length, great size, great speed. We might need you to do this. We might need you to come in and play 3 or 4 minutes of real tough defense. Can you do that? And those are the things that kids overlook. And, you know, they find themselves being the odd man out, or they find themselves not getting playing time.
Yep.
And they wonder why. It's not that you're necessarily not always good. It's just that the coach doesn't need that particular talent from you.
Yep.
They need something else from you.
Yep. Exactly.
So our coach's job is to put you in positions to succeed. Your job is to lend the coach your talent.